Hi, I'm attorney Renee Osipov here at Chelle Law, and we assist parents, guardians, and students who are having issues surrounding 504 plan accommodations. In this video, I'm going to be addressing if there's a formal or a format or a method of obtaining and drafting a 504 plan. So first, let's start with the basics of a 504 plan. 504 plan accommodations are codified in federal law, specifically the Rehabilitation Act, Section 504. And in that section, it outlines that schools, public schools and charter schools in all 50 states have to provide accommodations for students who have physical or mental impairments that substantially limit a major life activity. So what this would look like is if a student had some type of diagnosis or disability that substantially impaired some aspect of their learning within the school environment, then it's likely that they would qualify for a 504 plan, which includes accommodations. So in this video, we're talking about, is there a type of method? And so when we're talking about method, I would actually say that's more in the drafting of the 504 plan. Now, this federal statute within the section 504, it doesn't specify an exact format. There are lots of different formats you can look online, but it's likely that your school has some type of form that they are currently using when drafting. But federal law does state what needs to be included in the 504 plan. So we're going to kind of go over that together, and we're going to kind of use that as the method when drafting a 504 plan. The other thing I want parents to remember is that they are part of the team, the 504 accommodation team. They're an equal member as everyone else is. They must be included. They have to give notice. They have to have been given notice of any changes, or if they feel like maybe the teacher is the one who's referring the student for 504 plan evaluation to see if they do need accommodations, parents or guardians must be notified as well. They're a valued member of the team. I think this is a big misconception that parents are just passive and they're just there as a formality, but that's actually not the case. They have lots of legal rights and remedies if the school is not complying with their involvement. So let's talk about drafting the 504 plan itself. Now, the 504 plan is actually pretty straightforward, and it's normally a fairly short document. People may be more familiar with IEPs, which are much more extensive documentation, and there's a lot more requirements of an IEP. But a 504 plan is a bit smaller, condensed, and straightforward. I actually like them for that reason. And I feel like whenever educators or anyone in the school environment are handed a 504 plan, they're likely to know what they should and shouldn't be doing and how to help the student best more quickly than if they're handed, like a 20-page IEP. So let's talk about the form or the method of drafting. So first, the school information. So who is the school entity? Is it public? Is it charter school? Who are they? Then you need the information that would be the qualifying disability and then any sort of documentation to support that. The majority of the time when a child is diagnosed with a disability or diagnosis, it normally comes from their healthcare provider or some type of therapist, and that documentation is then likely to be attached. There would also need to be some information about the student themselves, their name, their birth date, their grade, and then going in sort of that flow of that information when the plan is actually to go into effect and when it's written and when will it be revised. So federal statutes say that 504 plan, the team must meet annually. So every year, the plan and the accommodations will have to be reviewed by the team. And then every 3 years, at the 3-year mark, then the student will have to go through the evaluation process to make sure that they're still qualifying for the 504 plan. The next section that would definitely need to be included in the 504 drafting are the team members. So this is anybody who's going to be making decisions or coming to the meetings, sharing data, evaluations, anything like that, or providing accommodations. They all need to be included as a team member. So you'll definitely need their name, their contact information, and then when they attend the meeting, there will need to be some sort of signature or indication that they have attended. Also, education and support staff who are on the team as well, the general education teacher, if there's any type of maybe admin, or if there's a 504 plan coordinator, they're likely included in the team member. Then for sure you have the guardian or parent like we talked about. And then there's really no requirements of who can and can't be on there, meaning that if there are therapists, other admin staff involved with implementing these accommodations, they would likely be a member as well. So team members, what their role is, their contact information, and are they attending the meeting? That would definitely need to be included. Then when we get into the accommodation plan or portion, the best method is to kind of map out first the areas of educational need. So could be the general education classroom. This could be transitions in the hallway. This could be extracurricular activities. This could be specials. So PE, library, art. I think I did say cafeteria already. For school or after school, all of those different areas would then be included. And then when we have those areas, then we're going to list the accommodations of what accommodations or services is the child going to be receiving in those areas. So in the general education classroom, potentially maybe they have a sensory tool or toy to help with sensory processing, but maybe they're only allowed to have that in the general education classroom. So it would stay under that category. One big thing that comes up a lot with sensory issues would be cafeteria for lunch. So maybe they have accommodation there that they're allowed to eat somewhere other than the cafeteria, or they have like a peer or a buddy system within that environment. So then would be listed the cafeteria during lunchtime and then the special accommodations just for that area. Then, so we have where the accommodations are going to be given, what actual accommodations are going to be given, but then we need to know who is providing those accommodations. So is this a therapist who's coming in providing services, maybe OT services, or maybe this is a teacher who's giving prompts to the student. If there is an exam or a test, potentially they're given an extra time or a location to go to. Who's implementing that person is important. And then lastly, the frequency of the accommodation or services. So I had mentioned the OT therapy. Are they receiving that once a week, twice a week? I would say typically therapy in accommodations is written out in minutes rather than specific days. It's best to be as specific as possible, just so that everybody who reads this document will know how to implement those accommodations. And then, like I said, the frequency. So if we're talking about accommodations in the cafeteria, this would be likely every school day where lunch is given, then that accommodation needs to happen. And then the date of that approval. If parents or someone on the team is disagreeing with what's actually in the document, they can file their own document or letter with it explaining what they disagree with and why, and then that can be added as well. So that's the basic method of how to draft. You really just need to know who's on the team, what is their purpose, the information about the student, including their diagnosis or disability, and then the accommodations themselves are just really where the accommodation is going to be held, what are the accommodations, who's giving them out or making sure that they're happening, and then what frequency. Is this a daily thing, a weekly thing? Is it written in minutes? It's best just to be as clear as possible. So that's really the basic method. There's no one right way to put these in the document, but those elements have to be included in the document. And like I said, each school is a little bit different. Normally the 504 plan coordinator handles the majority of this, but as a parent or guardian, you'll now know what to expect when you're looking at the actual 504 plan yourself. If you would like more information on this, you can check out our website or contact us for a consultation. We can walk you through the process. If you already have a 504 plan, we can definitely outline your rights and legal remedies if you feel like you're not being heard. We are definitely here to help you. Thanks.